In other videos, you've heard me talk about Yeti the Bad Dog. That's Yeti the Bad Dog. Yeti's story is an interesting one for a number of reasons. He's definitely, without question, the Maremma I've learned the most from. Some of it at his expense along the way, and we figured it out eventually. But his story begins like this. There was a woman in Colorado who studied about guardian dogs and was intrigued by them, and did lots of research and ended up finding Yeti in Tennessee he's a registered dog, or from registered parents. Drove there, picked him up, took him home to her nice big fenced yard in suburbia with her 2 other dogs, and things proceeded to fall apart. And he proved to be a very different dog than the kind of dog that she thought she was bringing home and thought she could handle. And in looking back at all of it, Yeti was about the last Maremma that I could ever think of that might be successful in suburbia, so the odds were stacked against her from the beginning, through no fault of her own at all. When Lisa was bitten by Yeti when he was about 12 weeks of age, and she tried to pick up a bone from him or something like that, she called the MSCA and asked questions about what to do with this creature that she was nothing like she'd ever encountered. And she was very participatory. Yeti knew how to go on a leash. He knew how to sit when he was told. He knew how to sit back and wait when food happened. She walked him several times a day. I mean, they worked hard at this. And Yeti just wasn't successful there. So after she contacted the registry, they sent her to me and we talked. I was just the person that happened to have the time to talk with her. And we talked about all the things that are true of Maremmas that she hadn't quite realized. And she asked me if I would take him. And I said, oh, heck no. I had been back and forth to Portland umpteen times over the last couple of years to pick up my pups that were coming towards my registered breeding program. That's a 12-hour turnaround time for me. There were, I don't know, maybe 16 Maremmas here at the time. There's no way I needed a project, and I sure as heck didn't need a dog like Yeti. Well, I don't say no very well, and I thought about all that overnight, and I called her up the next morning and said, all right, if he shows up at the ranch, I'll take him. But if he's got a character flaw, if he's an unstable dog, I will euthanize him. And I won't promise you I'll keep him forever, and I won't buy him from you, but I'll take him on as a project if he shows up here. We left it at that. 2 or 3 days later, with a little bit of notice, Lisa rolled in up the driveway with her little rental car and Yeti in a crate in the back. And the rest is history a little bit. Lisa and I became friends, and she eventually moved out here to, I don't know, she probably lives 20 miles from me or so. She sees Yeti on a regular basis. She's been involved in his adolescence and now into adulthood, and it's been a very interesting journey for both of us. But part of the reason that I share that with you, well, a few reasons probably obviously by this point, but Yeti is the most complicated Maremma I've ever been around. He's just got a hair trigger about all kinds of things. His adolescence was really tricky. There were times that I was not at all sure that he would make it as an adult dog because of his character, because of how difficult he was. He seemed a lot of the time in and out, but a lot of the time, up until he was about 2 years old, he seemed uncomfortable in his own skin. It was like he just didn't know how to be Yeti. He had so much drive and so much initiative that he didn't quite know what to do with himself. He was also a bully and a coward, both. And it all really had to do with resource guarding, which is why I'm standing here right now, and is a lot of the mistakes that I made with Yeti, because in looking back at it, if I'd been as staunch with him about staying with him when he was a puppy through all the times while he ate his dinners, a lot of the behaviors that he came up with, no, Blush, no, Blush, no, go back where you came from, nope, go on, go back, nope, go on, good, go back, nope, go back, nope, go eat, go on, good girl, nope, you're not coming down here, no, go on, no, Blush, go on. Come back up here. Good girl. Come on up here. Nope. Blush, don't you do that. Blush, no. Blush, no. 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 You will not bother him. Go on. It's okay, Yeti. Go on. No. That's a good girl. Yeah, you don't get to do that. No, you don't. Nope. Blush, no. Good. Very good. It's okay, Yeti. Nope. Yeti, stop. Quit. Nope. Blush, go on. No. You're not going to bother him. Yeti, you're all right. It's okay. Good boy. It's okay. I got it. Go on. Blush, get out of here. Stop. That's a good girl. You're not in any trouble. You just leave him alone. He gets to eat his dinner. I know. You're a good girl. Yeti, stop. Just eat. Good. Good. That's right. You're okay. I won't let anybody steal your dinner. That's a good boy. So Yeti is a 2-year-old dog now, or 26 months old or so, something like that. He's a new partner with Blush, who's behind me. Blush is 9 months old. That's actually the first time that I've ever seen them jockey for position about food, and you can probably draw your own conclusions there. He outweighs her by about 50 pounds. And he's the insecure one about food. I don't know why she was choosing to push his buttons like that. But it's really important to me that they be successful as a pair. And it's really, knowing what I know about Yeti, it's really important that I stick around and keep an eye on this situation, probably for the rest of his life. Anyway, let's see, where was I going with that? Yeti's not a dog that could be pushed at. The times that I had to discipline him, I had to be careful about it, because if I put him in a corner, what he perceived as a corner, he'd sit back and he'd look at me with this level gaze, and I almost got the sense that he was thinking about taking me on. And not in a really overtly aggressive way, but it was kind of Yeti being uncomfortable in his skin. He'd kind of roll back and forth in his mind about how he ought to react to having boundaries set, or situations he didn't understand, or high energy situations that he wasn't quite sure what to do with. And if I hadn't been thoughtful about how I had dealt with him, and I'd put him in a corner and he'd bitten me and hurt me, that would be the end, because I won't keep a dog like this that's willing to hurt me. They're dangerous. So I owed it to him to take it slow and steady and with a lot of care, and I've given so much thought about every little thing I've ever done with this dog. And with most of the dogs I've raised, I haven't needed to take that kind of care, but Yeti's a different guy. And we'll probably talk about him more at other times as I can think of other things to say about him. But as an adult dog, especially living with him the way I am, where I'm making sure that he doesn't have to worry that he's got anything to worry about as far as food goes, and that's his biggest issue, is his dinner, which is unusual a little bit the way he takes it. For a Maremma, most Maremmas are not that food oriented, but for him, I think it's a matter of safety, and there's got to be a lot of things that he ties into it that aren't really typical for the breed. He's got the kindest heart. He's just a teddy bear sweetheart of a guy, and now that he's a neutered dog, I neutered him at 7 months old because he was just turning into a guy that I did not like and didn't want anything to do with. So that's what we did, and I usually wait till they're closer to a year old, but Yeti decided differently, and he was a much better man for it about 30 days afterwards. As an adult dog, he's a laid-back, soft, super sweet dog. Had occasion to keep him with an intact female that just turned on him one day and decided to try to take him apart, and it was mostly for show because there wasn't any blood drawn, but it scared the heck out of him, and to my surprise, Yeti, no? Good. To my surprise, he did not fight back, and he outweighed her by more than what he outweighs Blush. He just shrieked and screamed and wanted to be rescued, which I did. Oh, come up here. Yeah, you done? Anyway, he's a gentle, good, dependable, wonderful dog that was worth all the trouble, and he taught me a lot and continues to.